Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the press statement following the informal meeting of candidate countries organized on the margins of the Informal General Affairs Council. The Romanian Minister Delegate for European Affairs, George Ciamba, together with the representatives of Republic of North Macedonia, Mr. Bujar Osmani, Deputy Prime Minister for European Affairs, Serbia, Mrs. Jadranka Joksimovic, Minister of European Integration, Montenegro, Mr. Alexander Drlevic, Chief Negotiator for Montenegro's accession to EU, Turkey, Mr. Faruk Kaymakçı, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Albania, Mr. Sokol Dedia, Deputy Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs, will present you the results. I will now give the floor to Minister Delegate for European Affairs, George Ciamba. Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, and first of all, once more, I had the pleasure today to welcome representatives of all the candidate countries. I think from the very beginning, we wanted to have a more practical discussion. As it is going to be in the margins of the Ministers for Europe meeting, we wanted to see the Ministers for Europe and the ones that are in charge of the negotiations, because this is where we wanted to see what is the state of play. For Romania was a very important, it's a very important part of the priorities of the presidency is the enlargement. We have been once more happy to be reassured that this is the right way, and this is enlargement policy is one of the strategic policies of the Union, and it proved to be so by the press space agreement and by the transformational change. In the same time, we have to take care that during our presidency, each of the candidate countries is going to make progress, and I think I marked exactly the road ahead, what the Romanian presidency could do and could deliver and is going to deliver during our term in office for each of the candidate countries. As you are all aware, tomorrow's discussion is going to be about the budget, about the multi-financial framework and the strategic agenda. I underline the fact that enlargement is linked with both, and the enlargement is, at least from a Romanian perspective, is part of the future of Europe. And we should not forget that in these times when we speak so much about Brexit and about countries leaving the Union, it's so reassuring for all of us and comforting to have countries that want to join the Union. Not only they want, they are ready to do so much. And I speak here again about the Prespes agreement, but as well about the efforts that have done by the other candidate countries on the way to reform. I think we should not forget that enlargement should be based on merits and on the reform process, on the benchmarks that all of us know. But in the same time, enlargement is a crucial process that brings stability in the area, and this is why it's so important for Romania. So thank you, and now I will try to give the floor to my colleagues to present their.
Thank you very much, Minister Ciamba. I will now give the floor to the Deputy Prime Minister Osmani. Please.
Thank you very much, dear Minister Ciamba, distinguished colleagues. Let me thank you for your initiative to gather us, the EU candidate countries, on this preface to the EU Member State Informal General Affairs Council meeting to talk about enlargement perspectives in view of the forthcoming Sibiu summit, which is probably the most important event for the future of Europe this year. This is a great opportunity to share our views on the importance of having a strong and prosperous union, which will include the Western Balkan countries as its members, as a guarantee for the stability, safety, and economic well-being of our continent. Recently, we had a chance to participate at similar debates about the future of our region in light of Sibiu, a meeting in Vienna with a similar purpose to share our views and to make a contribution on the same subject, the future of Europe. And this clearly depicts the new EU narrative for the new reality in the Balkans and among the EU candidate countries. And let me be honest, this new approach gives us hope, incentive, and courage to stay firmly on the EU path, confirming the undeniable fact that we truly are part of Europe and we should soon be part of European Union as well. And this is an important message for the entire Europe. With UK leaving the EU from one side of the continent, the renaissance of the European spirit is coming from the other side of the continent, as the Balkans is transforming itself, accepting European rules, standards and values, reconfirming the transformative power of European idea, reaffirming the attractiveness of the European Union, paving the way for more stable, more secure and more prosperous Europe. The success of enlargement process is the success of European idea with significant positive influence in creating the new shape of Europe. And this new narrative is probably most visible in the new European success story. And that's the story of Republic of North Macedonia, a country that just 2 years ago was a country with almost unsolvable disputes with its neighbors, posing serious threats to the internal stability as well. And 20 months later, we are a country with no open issue with its neighbors, with solid internal and interethnic stability, and on a firm path to become the 30th NATO member state, and with the most probable outcome of starting the accession negotiations with the EU this year. And this positive momentum, I hope, will spread among our neighbors, creating incentive for more open dialogue, compromise and political will for diplomatic solutions for the open issues. And there is no other political power that can contribute more in this manner than the transformative power of the European idea. This is why our future is interlinked. This is why it is important to work together on the future of Europe, and this is why we will create our joint future together. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much as well, Deputy Prime Minister. I will now give the floor to Minister Joksimovic. You may take the floor, please.
Thank you very much, dear Minister Ciamba, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, Serbia is a candidate country being mentioned in the credible strategy for enlargement as a front runner of this process. We in Serbia are strongly convinced that enlargement is in the best interest both of the European Union but also candidate countries in order to have strong, well-functioning and efficient European Union, really capable to address all relevant issues on a global but also on regional scale. That's why we want to share with European Union member states our expectation. We in Serbia expect that European Union will start to talk with one voice about the future of enlargement, so that we, as a candidate country, can prepare realistic reform agenda and also well manage the expectations of our people. I think that is in the best interest also both for the European Union but also for us as a candidate country. Without that, unfortunately, we think that European Union, if not rehired enlargement politics, then unfortunately we think that enlargement politics will be retired. So once again, if European Union wants to start the process of reviving of enlargement politics, that would mean a lot to European Union, but also for us, instead of nowadays situation when we have enlargement politics being surviving. Internal reforms of European Union should be and could be parallel with the continuation of the enlargement, credible enlargement process, because we think it was always mutually reinforcing process. During the history, we have seen different phases of European Union, so we don't think that this phase of, let's say, European Union with a lot of challenges that European Union is facing right now is something extremely difficult, and we hope that European Union will successfully face with all these challenges and continue a credible enlargement politic. When it comes to Serbia, I want to reassure you that we will continue to demonstrate a high level of commitment to work diligently on the implementation of reforms, and our deeds and results, especially in the area of the rule of law and economic reforms, show that we really are walking our talks. Don't just talk the talk, but the most important thing for a candidate country, but also for the member states, is to walk their talk. So we have realistic expectations in the first half of this year during the Romanian presidency. We think that a lot of reforms that we have undertaken last year and this year also continue, that we have continued during this year, will certainly give strong evidence, strong proof for European Union member states to continue opening of the new chapters with Serbia. So we hope that till the end of June we will have intergovernmental session, that we will have certainly open at least 2 or 3 chapters, but we'll see what will be the result. That is our expectation. The last but not least, because you know that Serbia has additional challenge during all the phases of our accession process when it comes to the regional stability and when it comes to the so-called Chapter 35, meaning normalization relations with Pristina and the Brussels agreement that has been signed almost 6 years ago. Serbia has delivered all obligations from this Brussels agreement, but unfortunately several days ago Pristina in their parliament adopted a new platform for negotiations, and unfortunately this platform absolutely is neglecting and in a way undermining the importance of the Brussels agreement. So for us now it's a question how to continue, because if you want just to talk as Europeans but don't think and act as Europeans and in a European way, then I think it would be not easy for us also to achieve some compromise that we initially wanted, and we have invested a lot of political will and lot of efforts to achieve this at least sustainable compromise solution. But, however, Serbia will continue to act constructively in the region. When it comes to regional stability, we have proven ourselves as a real contributor of regional stability, and with all other reforms that we have undertaken, we hope that this year will be also, let's say, solid and positive year for the Serbia succession process. Thank you.
Very much, Minister. Chief Negotiator Drlevic, please, you have the word.
Thank you. Dear Minister Ciamba, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to be today here in Bucharest. I really believe that despite all challenges and that European Union is facing with, this policy of enlargement will remain the focus of European Union and the member states as well. Last year was really promising for us because of Western Balkan European Union Summit, presentation of the European strategy for enlargement. We are continuing in the same direction with solution between North Macedonia and Greece, and I think it is really important that we from region are sending more and more positive messages that this region has European perspective and European future. This is an ongoing process, and this is a partnership, a relation between the really understanding and the close cooperation between the countries that are in the process of accession and the member states. This is not possible to be done. We are deep in Montenegro in this process, but we are not running to achieve the certain benchmarks or certain standards. We are doing this in order to improve the living conditions for our citizens. Our citizens in different countries really believe that this process is important for us. 66% of Montenegrins believe in this project. So we really have to support all the reforms that we are doing. We opened 32 negotiation chapters and 3 provisionally closed, and we expect that during this presidency we will open the last chapter that remained unopened, and to start with the closing of certain chapters. I think that this is process that is of great importance, but also of great interest for countries that are in the process, from one side, but also for member states in the European Union. If you are looking at the map of European Union, there is the puzzle that is missing. The puzzle that is missing is the Western Balkans and all countries that are here. So I really hope that what was written in the European strategy that was presented last year will be our focus and will remain direction where we will go in the upcoming months and years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will now give the floor to Deputy Minister Kaimakciu. Please, Minister.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Ciamba and the Romanian presidency for organizing this meeting on enlargement. I think it is important, vitally, because the enlargement is the most successful policy of the EU. And the EU should also play its role. Of course, I am representing a country which is the longest standing candidate since 1999. And despite the politicization of Turkey's accession process, Turkey is still committed to the EU accession. We are now putting back the trauma of 2016 coup attempt. Recently, Turkey has reinitiated the reform process through the Reform Action Group. Now we are working on a judicial reform strategy in consultation with the Council of Europe and the European Commission. And we are also working on the visa liberalization, which is helping to accelerate Turkey's reform process. So far, Turkey has been able to open 16 chapters. When Turkey is treated fairly, Turkey was able to open the chapters very quickly, but unfortunately when some national agenda items played negative role in our accession negotiations. Things didn't go as fast as we wanted. Of course, Turkey's accession process seems to be the most difficult one, most complicated one, most challenged one. But we know and we believe that when it happens, when Turkey meets the membership criteria, it will be the most beneficial membership to the EU ever, of the past and of the future, with Turkey's potential in the region, in Southeast Europe, because Turkish accession is not only a win-win case for Turkey and the EU, but it's also beyond. We believe that with its geostrategy, with its energy connections, with transport connectivity, Turkey will be an asset for the EU. And Turkey doesn't want to join the EU to be a burden, but Turkey wants to join the EU to share and to take some burden of the EU, as we are doing today in terms of illegal migration, in terms of counter-terrorism and foreign terrorist fighters. So, once again, I would like to thank the Romanian presidency for defending the enlargement cause. I think this is a very noble cause, and one of the mottos of the Romanian presidency is to make the EU global actor. I think Turkey will be a great asset when it becomes member of the EU to turn the EU into a global actor. I claim here that if Turkey had been a member of the EU in 2003, maybe we could have prevented a war in Iraq. If Turkey had been a member of the EU in 2010, we could have prevented the Syrian crisis to come to this point. So, of course, Turkey is not in the perfect shape today to advance the accession negotiations, but we know that after the March elections, 31st March municipal elections, there will be 4 years of no election time, and I think it will be the time to put more emphasis on the European path, on the European reforms. Thank you.
Very much, Minister. I will now give the floor to Deputy Minister Dedia. Please, Minister.
Thank you very much. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to the Romanian presidency and to Minister Ciamba for organizing this very fruitful and open discussion on the margins of the informal meeting of ministers for EU affairs of the member states. This conveys the important message that enlargement is an integral part of the overall strategy to strengthen the European project, to make the EU more cohesive, which is the leitmotif of the Romanian presidency program. The investment in the EU future of our region is a win-win choice in our common interest, I mean both of our region and the European Union. It helps to consolidate stability, it promotes rule of law and domestic consolidation reforms in our country, also good neighborly relations, regional cooperation, but it also improves security of our continent as a whole. It protects EU citizens' safety and interest. From Albania's perspective, we look forward to the decision to formally open accession negotiations, which is the beginning of a long transformative journey. Under the new approach to accession negotiations, the process is demanding, but it's also important that the process is credible, fair, objective, based on an objective evaluation of the fulfillment of conditionality. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well. Thank you to all of you for attending this press statements. It's ending here, and we wish you a good evening. And we are waiting for you tomorrow to the second day of General Affairs Council informal meeting at the Palace of the National Bank of Romania. Thank you all. Thank you, ministers.